Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me, and welcome to another episode of Classic Album Review. This one for Pink Floyd Animals. It's their 10th studio album and originally came out January 21st of 1977, and we're going to dive into everything about this album in just a bit. But before we do, if you are new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this, for a classic album review of Pink Floyd's Animals. So a little context and history about the band to set the mood. They formed in 1964, and the band was originally led by frontman Syd Barrett, who helped them pioneer the psychedelic rock sounds of the early era. But when Barrett was unable to continue with the band due to deteriorating health conditions, guitarist David Gilmour was brought into the band, and the leadership itself then kind of fanned out to all four members. In 1973, though, the band developed or changed into their next phase of things with the release of their groundbreaking album Darkside of the Moon. The album itself ushered in the progressive rock phase of the band and their most commercial period to date. For context, Dark Side of the Moon itself, the album, has spent an unprecedented 950 weeks on the Billboard 200 album chart, making it the longest running album in US history. The band itself also then followed up that album with 1975's Wish You Were Here, perfecting the long-form composition on that album, and which would of course be continued onto the follow-up album, the one we're going to talk about, Animals, from 1977, 10th studio album. So this one here is both a progressive rock album and a concept album all in one. While the album itself did start out as a collection of unrelated songs, they were later eventually all tied together, becoming loosely based on George Orwell's 1945 political fable Animal Farm. It focused on the social political conditions of the day, and the album's lyrics describe different varying classes of people in society by use of animals, in this case predatory dogs, the ruthless pigs, and mindless sheep, hence what became song titles for this. The album itself only features 5 tracks, and track number 1 and track number 5 are actually the same song, Pigs on the Wing, which are just split to bookend the album, creating a sort of intro and outro feel to the album. Now, something of interesting note that maybe a lot of people don't know about is the 8-track version of Animals actually took the 2 intro-outro pieces, put them back together, and created a song with it. So I have a CD copy of this. It's actually a bootleg that was burned. It's a Japanese release, but you can see there's 4 tracks, and the first one here, Pigs on the Wing, actually features the whole song. They brought in Snowy White because David Gilmour was already off getting ready for the tour or something to that nature. And so they put the song back together, added a guitar solo in the middle of it, creating a whole song. So if you have the 8-track, that's why it's different, and or if you've never heard the 8-track, track it down, and or maybe you can find a bootleg CD copy like I've got here. But the real meat and potatoes of this album are actually the 3 middle tracks on it. And these are those long form compositions that the band had started on previous album Wish You Were Here, and a few of the other ones before that, but they really did it here because all of the songs except for the intro and outro are those long form compositions. Dogs is 17 minutes, Pigs, 3 different ones, is 11 minutes, and Sheep, 10 minutes. And so what I like about this album, one of the things that always drew me to it is it really allows me to sink my teeth into the tracks because of the length of them, makes it for one of my favorite albums from them. And the way that this album works here, the songs, they seem to flow from one to the next. Not because they actually flow into one another, but just the way that they're structured on here. And for me, making the whole album seem like one long song, uniting all of these songs together into a whole composition. And so for the album cover, let's talk about that, because this is a pretty iconic album cover. I mean, I'm even wearing a shirt. The pig itself that you can see right there has sort of become an unofficial mascot for the band. But this album cover here, this is the Battersea Power Station. And it's a real place. You can visit it. But they decided to have a 40-foot pig, a balloon in the shape of a pig, created. It was secured between the stacks there at the Battersea Power Station. Interesting thing, on the second day of photography, the pig actually broke free, floating away, and disappeared from view. It eventually flew over Heathrow Airport, resulting in panic and canceled flights. I mean, can you imagine what the passengers on the airlines thought when they saw a giant pig flying over as they're getting ready to come in and land or take off? I mean, that must have been a crazy sight. But in doing so, they actually created one of their most iconic album covers. There's another shot, different one there on the back of this thing. Just really cool overall shot. And of course, like I said, you know, it's become sort of like the unofficial mascot showing up on the shirt there. But bottom line on this album, you know, while there may only be 5 tracks on this thing here, the band made one of their best albums in my opinion. It's one of the most consistent listens all the way through from start to finish. There's not a bad song on here or part of a song, because there's so few songs that are on this thing. So even those long form compositions, there really aren't any bad parts to those. Each of the long form tracks on here is interesting enough to hold my attention all the way throughout, making for an amazing listen to this classic album and one of my favorite albums of the 70s era Floyd catalog. So there you go. That is Pink Floyd's Animals classic album review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, also check the description for links to related videos. In particular, I'll leave links to reviews and unboxing for Pink Floyd's early years box set. Also the one you can see behind me there, the later years box set. And if you do like this shirt, I will leave a link in the description. You can go check it out and perhaps buy yourself one and put it on and listen to your album of Animals as well. And certainly if you've enjoyed this video, please share it out on social media. I would also greatly appreciate it. All right, everyone, take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.